48 hours, he's with me. So, and we gonna go full.
Came into Diddy's circle, and that tape you referenced of the two of them about to spend 48 hours together or having just was disturbing. And there's no question he had a lot of exposure to this guy.
OMG, Megyn Kelly is ripping Diddy apart after Justin Bieber's disturbing confession set the internet on fire. While every journalist stays silent, she's never afraid of Diddy and his gang. She's always ready to expose them with solid receipts like every time.
He's in a very difficult spot because he's been abused.
Yeah.
And this brings up a lot, especially for a man.
Now she's connecting the dots, asking the hard questions, and shining a spotlight where most people would rather keep things in the dark. And now Bieber is also speaking up and revealing what happened, what were these parties like with Diddy, and notably, Bieber also revealed another name with Diddy that will boil your blood with anger.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn and everyone, telling me they love me.
So why did Megyn come up with these receipts so late? And what did Bieber reveal that has her so fired up? And why is Diddy suddenly at the center of this storm?
When I was younger, it's confusing when you're young because that person loves me.
Think about it. You're just a kid, right? You've got talent, you've got dreams, you've got this fire inside you, and then suddenly the world wants a piece of you. But here's the catch. The people around you, the adults who are supposed to protect you, don't always see you as a human being. They see you as a product, a brand, a money machine. And when innocence collides with power, yeah, we've all seen it, it never ends well. Justin Bieber's story is probably the clearest example of this. 15 years old, a YouTube channel, a guitar, just a kid from Canada. And then boom, global superstar. Millions of fans, arenas screaming his name. But behind the flashing lights, behind all the platinum records, there was something darker going on. Exploitation, manipulation, and honestly, an entire system that failed him. Now, back then, most people ignored it, but years later, this old clip pops up online. A clip of Justin with Sean Diddy Combs. And let me tell you, once you see it now with everything we know, you can't unsee it. Here's the scene. Bieber's sitting there, nervous, awkward, he's just a kid. And Diddy, he's grinning into the camera. But Diddy slipped in a subtle warning to Bieber not to be talking about what they do in secret.
And he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television. Oh, apparently not.
He laughs. Justin laughs, uncomfortably, and the world moved on. But now, with lawsuits piling up against Diddy, with his whole empire under fire, that moment doesn't look like a joke anymore. It looks like a giant red flag waving right in front of our faces. And who called it out the loudest? Megyn Kelly. She got on her show, and she just tore into it. She said, and you could hear the fire in her voice, let's be clear, a 40-year-old man bragging about having a 15-year-old boy in his custody for 48 hours is not funny. It's not mentorship, it's predatory. And she was right, because if you look at the pattern, it's there. Diddy bragged once about being Usher's guardian when Usher was a teen. Then Bieber, always young, always vulnerable, and always under the guise of mentorship. Megyn asked a question that should make every parent stop and think. Would you ever hand your 15-year-old son over to a powerful man for 48 hours, unsupervised? Of course not. No way. But in Hollywood, it was treated like a joke. Even did confess to having these kids in his custody.
His parents threw him to the wolves, literally.
What mother would give her 15-year-old over to Sean Combs for a weekend? Who would do that? No matter how badly your son and you want him to become a star.
And then there's Bieber himself. In 2020, in an emotional interview, he broke down talking about how hard it was to be that young in the industry. He said he wanted to protect Billie Eilish, to make sure she didn't go through what he went through. You could hear the pain in his voice.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So if she ever needs me, I'm going to be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and I just want to protect her, I don't want her to go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody.
That wasn't a pop star giving a soundbite. That was a survivor giving a warning. And yet, back then, when Bieber was spiraling, when he was breaking down in public, what did the media do? They laughed. They mocked him. They called it a meltdown, when in reality, it was trauma.
It's an emotional time in my life, for sure. I've been having a lot of cries lately. Just all around just being emotional. I think that's...
And Megyn Kelly nailed it. She said that awkward laugh wasn't cute. It was a cry for help. This isn't just about one man, folks. It's about an industry. It's about a culture of silence that protects predators, because protecting the brand is more important than protecting the kids. And doesn't that sound familiar? The church scandals, the sports world, Hollywood casting couches. Over and over, institutions shield the powerful and the vulnerable get crushed. Corey Feldman's been screaming about this for decades. Britney Spears' breakdown wasn't entertainment. It was someone collapsing under exploitation. And Justin, he's part of that same ugly pattern. But here's the thing. Today, the tide is turning. Diddy's empire is crumbling. Lawsuits, investigations, it's all catching up. Like Megyn said, power protects power until it doesn't. But this can't just be another headline we scroll past, another scandal we forget in 2 weeks. If we really care about protecting the next generation, we can't call this gossip anymore. This is accountability. Yes, Justin survived. His faith, his marriage, his openness about mental health, they gave him a second chance. But survival doesn't erase the damage. Look at what it cost him. The drugs, the breakdowns, the desperate need to escape. That's what survival looks like in this industry, and it should terrify us. So let's dig into the tough stuff. Justin Bieber's battle with drugs and the chaos that almost tore him apart. If you've seen his YouTube docuseries Seasons 2020, you know it wasn't sugar-coated. He opens up about using lean, pills like MDMA, and even mushrooms early in his career.
I decided to stop because I felt like I was dying. My security and stuff were coming into the room at night to check my pulse. Like, people don't know how serious it got.
It wasn't party vibes, it was pain relief, a desperate attempt to numb something inside. He also battled depression, anxiety, and later Lyme disease and Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, which paralyzed half his face and forced him to cancel tour dates. That's when things got real. He leaned into faith, therapy, and the love of his wife, Haley. He took a step back, away from the circus, away from the lights. It wasn't fame that saved him, it was that decision to fight, to become a better man, a better husband, a future father. So when all the Diddy drama erupted, the resurfacing footage, the lawsuits, the legal circus, Justin chose to stay silent. Not because he was afraid, but because his priority was his family. He didn't want to reopen old wounds. He was moving forward. Marriage, mental health, stability. That was his headline. Meanwhile, it is not just Justin Bieber who is trying to move on. Usher has also been forced to revisit his past and confront the scars left by his time under Sean Diddy Combs' wing. Long before the headlines of raids, lawsuits, and shocking allegations, Usher had already hinted at the uncomfortable reality of his early mentorship. As a teenager, he lived in Diddy's home, a place that was supposed to shape his career, but instead exposed him to experiences no child should have been around. He would later admit that those days were filled with adult activities far beyond his years, a reality that blurred innocence with exploitation. For years, Usher carried those memories quietly, channeling his pain into music and performance. But as the storm around Diddy intensifies, his reflections are gaining new weight. In recent conversations, Usher has made it clear that while he doesn't dwell on those moments, he recognizes their lasting impact.
Pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand.
His words are careful, but they reveal a young artist who grew up too fast, in an environment that confused guidance with indulgence. Those revelations have now become part of the larger puzzle, suggesting that Diddy's alleged misconduct was not isolated, but part of a wider pattern of grooming and influence. Today, Usher speaks from a place of maturity and survival. He is no longer the impressionable teen who entered Diddy's world. He is a father, a veteran performer, and a man who understands the value of truth. And then there's 50 Cent. No subtlety there. He's been tearing into Diddy for years. Remember his diss track, The Bomb, back in 2006? That was just the start. Fast forward to 2023 and 2024, raids on Diddy's homes, allegations, lawsuits, and 50 Cent is already snapping on social media. Now, it's not Diddy do it, it's Diddy done. When video surfaced of Diddy assaulting Cassie, 50 didn't hold back.
But me and you, we ain't party. Like, we need to party. What is he talking about? That's
the
kind of stuff that when people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable.
He announced a Netflix docuseries, Untitled Sean Combs docuseries, with proceeds to benefit victims. And in July 2025, after the verdict came in, Diddy found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, but acquitted of racketeering and sex trafficking. 50 Cent exploded on Instagram. This isn't just trash talk, it's a reckoning. He's forcing the conversation, pushing it into the open. 50 Cent is going as far as to ensure Diddy does not receive a pardon from Trump. He really wants him to pay for the things he did. The trial of Sean Diddy Combs has turned into one of the messiest legal battles in the music industry.